everyone. Welcome to LOCKBEARD Phenomena number 68, Samhain 2022. It's actually Saturday, October 29th. We're a couple days away, but we do Saturdays, so this is Samhain night, LOCKBEARD Phenomena. I waited a minute or two to see if Joe was planning on trying to wrap her up before we started, but it didn't look like he was going to. So I know he's going on. I know he's going on. I don't know how much longer he's going to go on, but I'm sure some people will filter in here in a few whenever he's done. I see Bones is here. Welcome, Bones. Derek McManus. It's that time of year again, he says. Yeah. Angel Nolan, welcome. Deb the Web says, hey, I made it live. Yeah, he did. There's Blanton. That he's tag teaming, double teaming on us here. Samhain, my favorite time of the year, says Blanton. Yeah. Lowriders here, welcome. Icons here. He says, Halito Achaeos. Nice Mickey Mouse ears. Mickey Mouse ears. Oh, this is some straight up demonic shit right here. Got an actual turnip jack-o'-lantern back here. So yeah. Button says, let's go walk around the graveyard and see what we can find. Well, it'd be very hard to do. It'd be cool if we could. I mean, but I'm not set up to where I can do a live stream at a graveyard. And these days, though, shit, you probably get arrested in a lot of places. I don't know where we could go. So we're stuck here. Icon says, oh, my bad. Yeah, it's a little dark in here. A little dark. But, yeah. Donald's here. Welcome. So I don't know if... Go take a peek here. Yeah, he's still going on. Well, show must go on. Deb the Web says, thought LOCKBEARD would be dressed as a king bee. A king bee? Yeah, no, I ain't dressing up as no bee. Where's Mr. Lee at? I mentioned the veil getting thin. And Mr. Lee was said something about, no, it's extra thick this time of year or something like that. I was like, what? I think you're confused, Mr. Lee. Think you're confused, Mr. Lee. So there's this video here I thought would be a good one to look at. Kind of explaining some of the Samhain traditions. Dev the Web says my hair is thinner. Yeah, that happens. That happens to a lot of people. Mr. Lee is out for cabbage night, huh? Well, darn. That's all right, I guess.
On the 31st of October, when the sun goes down, this marks the start of the Celtic festival Samhain. Samhain is a pagan religious festival originating from an ancient Celtic spiritual tradition. In modern times, Samhain is usually celebrated from October 31st to November 1st to welcome in the harvest and usher in the dark half of the year. Celebrants believe that the barriers between the physical world and the spirit world break down during this festival, allowing more interaction between humans and otherworldly creatures or spirits of the otherworld. Ancient Celts marked Samhain as the most significant of the 4 quarterly fire festivals, taking place at the midpoint between the fall equinox and the winter solstice. During this time of year, hearth fires in family homes were left to burn out while the harvest was gathered. And a typical Samhain festival would usually start when the harvest work was complete. Celebrants joined with Druid priests, lit a community fire using a wheel that would cause friction and spark flames. The wheel was considered a representation of the sun and was also used along with prayers. Cattle were sacrificed, and participants took a flame from the bonfire and brought it home with them to cause another fire in their home. And some sources even say about the Samhain festival that it lasted 3 days and 3 nights, and that is, you must keep that fire lit for 3 days and 3 nights. And the community would do this. It wouldn't be the Druid priests themselves. The people would do this to show respect and to show love to the chieftains or the kings, so to speak. And if you didn't, a lot of people believe that if you didn't participate in this kind of keeping up of the fire, you would be sure to not be granted any success in the afterlife whatsoever. In fact, you may even be struck down with illness. Now, in modern times, on Halloween night, a lot of kids dress up, a lot of adults dress up as well. Something scary. Well, this is for sure from the Samhain festival as well, because it was expected that ancestors might cross over and visit you during the Samhain festival. And ancient Celts would dress as animals and monsters so that the spirits that came from the other world would not kidnap them. Some specific monsters were associated with the mythology surrounding Samhain, including a shape-shifting creature called a puka. Now, I did a video about the puka this time last year, so you can find that link in the description of this video. Another particular monster as well, or you could say shapeshifter, was the Lady Gwyn. She's like a headless woman dressed in white who chases night wanderers and was accompanied by a black pig. Also, the Doulahan sometimes appeared as impish creatures, sometimes headless men on horses who carried their heads, riding flame-eyed horses. Their appearance was a death omen to anyone who encountered them. And of course, like so many other festivals in pagan times, when Christianity became popular, they obviously wanted to get their dirty paws on this particular festival as well. So as Christianity gained a foothold, they decided to reframe this particular pagan holiday. You know, it was a bit too flamboyant for their liking, you know? So the first attempt to kind of quell this particular celebration was by Pope Boniface in the 5th century. He moved the celebration to May 13th and specified it as a day celebrating saints and martyrs. The fire festivals of October and November, however, did not end at all, actually, because a lot of people back then were a little bit annoyed. They kind of liked this festival, you know what I mean? And then in modern times, we have Halloween. And there's so many aspects of Halloween that has definitely been kept going since ancient times. For example, a bonfire. I mean, in Ireland, a bonfire on Halloween night is fairly typical. Now, I know now, definitely this time, they're less, but when I was a kid, there was so many bonfires everywhere in Ireland on the 31st of October. And I suppose that tradition is kind of kept going now, but like I said, a little bit less so. Obviously, trick-or-treating still goes along. This is actually said to be an Irish and Scottish tradition, the trick-or-treating. So that's quite cool as well. So you can kind of see some aspects of Samhain being kept going right now in Halloween in modern times.
Well, I see Sanders come in here. Welcome. And chessboard. What's going on? I see Low Rider making fun of the way the guy talks. Donald says, "Don't forget your mute, Lockbeard." Oh, I didn't forget it this time. Nope, nope, nope. So I saw Joe mentioning, it was a couple weeks ago, you know, because nowadays everybody makes jack-o'-lanterns out of pumpkins. But used to, they made them out of turnips, like that one there. That's a little pumpkin, but, well, that's actually, I think it's like a winter squash, but it's shaped like a pumpkin. But they're all the same. They're all the same. They're all the same plant. They're just different varieties. But anyway, so this next video is gonna pop up is from Danu's Irish Herb Garden channel, where she's kind of talking about the turnip thing. See you both. Donald says, "Be careful wearing them horns out at night. Been reports of a lot of deer poachings, and you're part of." Yeah, I'll be all right. Uncle Bones is here. Welcome. Is Joe still rolling over there? Icon says, "That's about the only good thing you can do with a turnip." Well, you know, I'm pretty, you know, like I've talked about before, I pretty actively avoid eating plants a lot of the time. So, I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth. Sometimes I'm eating crap, and then other times I'm strictly carnivore. But look, I mean, I don't know how people have been cooking turnips, but you gotta like cook the shit out of it, and then butter the shit out of it. Maybe put some cheese on it, or maybe, you know, cook it really good and then slice it and then fry it in butter. You know, get it good and browned. I mean, I think a lot of people are used to it's just like with Brussels sprouts. Again, I don't advocate people eating any of these things because they're plants, right? It's not healthy to eat plants at all. But if you're going to eat Brussels sprouts, you need to cook the piss out of it and then fry it in some butter or some lard until it gets really, really, the Brussels sprouts get really, really browned, and then you're going to have a different experience. Don't just boil this shit. If you just boil Brussels sprouts, you're not going to have a good time. If you just boil turnips, you're not going to be very happy with it. You got to, you know, go the extra full 9 and cook the shit out. Like both of them, you need to cook the shit out of it. A half cooked Brussels sprout is a bunch of bullshit in my book. But but yeah, turnip, like, you know, you could start out boiling it, or, you know, throw it in the oven like you do like a baked potatoes and stuff. But I would slice it up after it gets cool enough for you to handle and slice it. Don't tear it up, just slice it up and then put it on a griddle with some butter and brown it. Browned. You don't have to get them real thin, just, you know, I don't know what to call that, just turnip slices, and you'll have a different experience. Derek says, "When I was a little lad, we used turnips to make our Halloween lanterns." Yeah. Next year, I need to just grow some because you can't get a decent sized turnip in the grocery store. That's for sure. Not most of the time. Like, look at that son bitch. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. There's one on the thumbnail actually down in the corner that's a turnip jack-o'-lantern. Still talking over there. Orb butter is great on turnips, says Donald. Yeah. We're just not going to be able to. It's going to be a long, hard fight to get rid of some of these hucksters out there with their orb butter and stuff. You know, I mean, I haven't witnessed orbs. You know, they don't sound like something that's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, if it's an electromagnetic phenomenon, that's fine. The thing, like with Joe saying they seemed intelligent. Well, I mean, consider for a moment that something might move in a fashion that seems intelligence, but it isn't necessarily intelligence, but order. Like things moving in order. Like I was watching. What was I watching? I was watching something. The guy said, "Oh, there's no square." It was some weird shit. There's no squares. There's no 90-degree angles in nature. He said, and he said that's why. What was this on? It was like this idea that that vampires are like this real thing, right? It's just somebody's theory, or it's in a story somewhere. I'm not sure where it comes from, but this guy was talking about how vampires were like a branch of humans that wake up every so often and thin out our population, and they're hyper intelligent and very strong and very long lived. But he said that but he said that something about, since right angles don't occur in nature, that people knew to use right angles. The sight of right angles would cause the vampires to go into grand mal seizures. So it wasn't like a religious thing going on. It was some kind of seizure they were giving the vampires, according to what this guy was saying. The problem is there very well is right angles in nature. There's crystals that form right angles, right? I mean, you look at your salt crystals. You know, the cleavage of a salt, when salt breaks apart, it's in squares. Iron pyrite, you know, different types of crystals have right angles in their structure. So, but yeah, orb butter. Derek says parboil, then fry them in butter with chopped up bacon. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. And don't be afraid to get them dark. Get them really dark brown. You can actually get that sort of pretty close to that at Long John Silver's. You got to pay extra for it because it's a premium side or whatever. But if you don't want to eat the other sides, you're trying to eat keto, right? Occasionally, I'll go there and get the endless shrimp. So you're eating nothing but shrimp. Don't get the breaded kind. Get this, like the shrimp skewers or the shrimp scampi, and you're pretty much just eating meat without breading. Although the butter stuff, I think is probably cottonseed oil, which is not a good thing. I don't know if you could. I mean, it might be margarine too, which is crap. Like, I don't know if they'd let you bring your own real butter or not. That's a potential problem there. Anyway, one of the sides, the premium sides, you can order instead of, you know, all the crap. Like, tell them also, they always put rice on there. You tell them to hold that if you're trying to be keto. But they got these. I guess they put them in the oven or something, but they're crispy Brussels sprouts. But again, if you're eating keto, you got to tell them don't put that sweet. They put some kind of sweet drizzle sauce on top of this. You got to tell them leave that off and leave those onion crispy things off because they look like a carbo something or other anyway. So you got to alter the shit out of it, but you can't get something that's reasonably healthy if you know what to say to them and you're willing to pay a couple bucks extra for the premium side. Donald says the only way I'd eat turnip if it was mistaken for another vegetable in the stew. Well, and that might be one way to do it. You know, cut them up and put them in there. But if you like fry them in some butter or some lard or something and get them good and browned, and make sure they're thoroughly cooked, then you might actually kind of like it. Cook it, fry it with some onion. Sweet potato fries is kind of the same thing. You know, they're good, but you run into this problem where restaurants don't like, you got to cut them thinner than potatoes to make sure they're thoroughly cooked. I hate undercooked sweet potato fries. But again, not advocating you eat these things. These are plants. Humans are absolutely not designed to eat plants. We can get by on them, but we're not designed to eat plants. So I'm not advocating people eat this shit. It's bad for you. But if you're going to eat it fucking right. Does that sound good? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, they probably never even thought of doing that. Like, you know, like I think you should, yeah, like he said, parboil it or, you know, steam them or whatever you can do to get them cooked and then put them in some butter and like add bacon to bacon grease to make them flavorful and get them just brown them really good. Stir them around and brown them really good. Lowrider says orbs, dolphins seem intelligent on rye bread with mayonnaise. Eric Cartman. Yeah. Secret's out. Which secret's that? The orb butter? Uncle Bone says, Donald, surprised you talked to me without my wrench. Huh? I'm not sure. You don't have a wrench? Dib the web. It's web spider B. There's that, Mom. Welcome. Wait a minute. Did I ever give Uncle Bones a wrench? I don't remember who I gave a bunch of people wrenches. Or did he say he didn't want one? Or I don't know. I wouldn't know how he didn't have it anymore if I gave it to him because who would take? I don't know that anyone else could take it away from him except for me, right? Get the management on that. Bama says Donald, he gave it to Derek. Break your wrench. Donald says, Uncle Bones needs his wrench. Let me see here. Are you sure? I thought he had a wrench. How does he not have a wrench? Huh. Squatching Cowboys here. Welcome. I followed you on Twitter. I've jumped onto Twitter since things are looking a lot better. Elon Musk has taken over, bought it, canned that wretched bitch that's been running shit over there along with those other assholes. But she in particular, man, I hate that bitch. Go watch her shit. Go watch her shit. Vijaya, or some people have been calling her Vijay, but when she was on Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan kind of got her and deer in the headlights asshole there, and then talking to Tim Pool. And Tim Pool was challenging them on their policies of shutting down people that didn't say the shit that they wanted them to say. Like if you weren't far left enough, then they were banning people, permanently banning some people. And it was clear that that's what they were doing. And that wretched bitch and Dorsey were sitting there just lying their goddamn asses off. They're just I fucking hate them too. They're fucking retarded. Like I didn't really care for Twitter anyway, but they made it completely insufferable and useless. So I shut my account down and got the fuck out of there. So I restarted it. Was it yesterday? And trying to use it to, reach more people, get them over on the channel. Because there's a lot of people over there. Raptor says, hello everyone in chat and Lockbeard. Hope you guys are having a good Saturday night. Indeed. How are you? Different channel. Oh yeah, that's right. I totally forgot. We're on the spare channel, so that's why he don't have it. He didn't have a ranch. I just gave him one though. Batman says, "Cowboy, did I win?" Donald says, he might not have been around the last time you're. Yeah, I just realized that. I forgot we're on the alternate channel, so hopefully everybody can find it. Hopefully most people already know that this is the alternate channel. In the case that one is shut down, that one's shut down for 2 weeks. So next Saturday we'll be back here again. I might still have random lives, but it'll be few. It'll be much reduced. It'll be fewer because it's just a pain in the ass because then I gotta upload those live streams back over on the other channel and try to make sure they get over onto all the other platforms, and it's just a mess. So it's just easier to try and do fewer live streams during the time that the main channel is suspended. I don't know why they decided to go ahead, because usually they just interrupt your stream for a couple of minutes. You realize that whatever you're playing has pissed them off for some reason, and then you can jump right back on. Well, that didn't happen for whatever reason. Well, I know why. I mean, I know why this is happening. It's because they don't like the stuff I talk about. They can say they don't target people, but they do. They absolutely do. Because that video that was playing, it's on YouTube. Anyone can go freely watch it. It's it's out there. It isn't like it, so and they called it the spam and deceptive practices policy. They said this is what this was a violation of, but it was copyright that they were using. So 2 weeks suspension and a strike. So they want to take the channel down. They want to kill the channel. So going to have to play it real cool for a while, because one more strike and the primary channel is dead permanently. So if that happens, I mean, I don't know. They say that this somebody was saying that this channel would go down as well if they do that, because it's technically we're on the same account. It has multiple channels. But they don't give you your suspension on both channels, so I don't know. I don't know if they would try to like shut down this channel as well or not. At any rate, everything's over on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. And if they do shut down the primary channel, I probably, unless it gets to a point where I can hire help, because there's just too much shit to do to make all this work. I probably won't try to upload all of the back episodes onto the other YouTube channel. People will need to go over to Rumble. Primarily Rumble is where you would want to go to my channel there to see the older stuff. And that's also serving, it's my backup now. Because I've been running out of storage space. I was even paying extra for data storage, but it's not enough. I got, so basically I had to clear out space and deleted the first 100 episodes of the Random Lives out of there. And I still out of space. So that's an issue. And just going to have to treat Rumble as the backup for the older episodes, and Odyssey, for the most part, not everything's over there, but most things are over there. And BitChute. Squatch Cowboy says, I don't really get on Twitter, just to post my videos. That's it. Bat Mom, no one's won yet. Gotta wait till fourth video to answer. Donald says, Bat Mom can't answer till the last episode in the series. Rules of the contest. Angel says, I guess I need to remember my password for Twitter. I've not been on it in a few years. Well, I'm not using my old account. I started a new account specifically for promoting the channel here, because I'm really not interested in getting sucked into Twitter too much. It's still, I still don't find it. I don't like it. It's just, I don't know. I just don't like it. You have no patience. You're the winner. Donald says, "Well, I know the answer myself. Are we going to arm wrestle for the T-shirt?" T-shirts and cap. Brandy's not here. Brandy says Brandy is always there. Joe says Lockbeard being a bad boy again. Yeah, being a bad boy. Welcome to the chat. No, he knew she was there. Lowrider says, Lockbeard, thank you for making me feel safe by surrounding me with mods. Everyone else here is a mod. Safety first. Well, what had happened was it kind of got like that a long time ago, because when we were following the convoy, and at the time, like I was trying to stick to no mods on the main channel, but I was like, over here, there was a few bots and stuff. And anyway, somehow, I don't know, I just decided, I don't even remember exactly what my thinking was. Decide, you know what, on this channel, I'll just make everybody mods. Well, everybody except for known troublemakers. Balance says, Brandy, shh, don't tell him. Brandy says, I don't know the answer. Have they seen your horns? Has who seen my horns? Quick, tell me, be our secret. Lowrider assassin Locky, is he? Horny tonight. Yeah, Going to eat me some Dutch apple pie and Bluebell French vanilla ice cream. Oh man, that's a carb nightmare. Mr. Lee was here, cowboy. He would be shaking his finger at you. Don says you're gonna have to do a drawing for the prize. I got time in watching the shows to get the answer. Jen says, Lockbeard, the lens suit you. The lens, I'm not sure. The lens, you mean like my glasses? Surprise special. Hell, thanks for indulging me a surprise special. Oh yeah, same name on Rumble. Hopefully eventually I can live stream. I can directly live stream to it. But I can't do that until I get up to, I think, 100 subscribers or pay. Like you can pay to get there, but I don't. Very little. Paquito. Funds very small. Cold here. That mom says I can't remember my account's passwords either. You just keep making new ones. Yeah, I mean, I imagine if you try to sign in with your email address, for example, that you could probably just request a new password if you don't remember your password. And then go from there. Or just start a new one, I guess. I don't know. Raptor says is it free on Rumble or do you have to pay so much a month? It like the basic version is free. But if you try to you can upgrade. Like I can't, like I just said, I can't live stream. Like it's kind of problematic to hook it up, but I guess you can do it. Hook up StreamYard, which is what I use to live stream from, to Rumble. So I could live stream to Rumble and YouTube at the same time. It would store the video on both sites. But right now what happens is I live stream to my YouTube channel, not this one, the other one. I don't think I could. I have a feeling that even if I did that, I'm not sure. I don't know if I can hook the two YouTube channels over to Rumble or not. The other one, it syncs up, right? It automatically takes the videos and copies them over to Rumble and Odyssey and BitChute. Works most of the time. It has its flaws. But I have to get to 100 subscribers on Rumble to be able to live stream over there, or I have to pay extra. Brandy says, Lockbeard, what do you do with those horns in your spare time? Sharpen them up. Raptor says, hello, Brandy, I saw you got a blue wrench over on Joe's channel. Squashing Cowboy got lots of plus marks. Trying to drive off the vampires. Martial law. Yep. Raptor says, hello, CB. I apologize every time I try to put your name in all the time. It doesn't do it. So I put CB, don't take offense. CB, oh, you talking about Blanton? Fun Rumble password too. What everyone calls you. Don says, sign in with your Google account. That's how I get on them other sites. Yeah, you can do it that way. I try to keep stuff separate from Google sometimes. I didn't want to do it that way. Joe says, where you get them horns? Amazon, or did they grow overnight? They grew within moments before the show. But for real, they were at Walmart. Cowboy says, accidentally set my bowl of apple pie and ice cream on the keyboard. I imagine that could cause problems. Damn. Hold on a second. Michael Haywood's here. He says, hello, Oklahoma Hellboy. Hello. What is up? Ignore them all the time. They suit you, you old devil. Man, I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I could do it.
Hello and Samhain blessings, everybody. I'm just busy here carving a turnip, which is one of the traditions in Ireland. And I'll tell you something about that in a minute. I'm going to use the inner parts for a soup and for a pie, which is what I do every year. But before I go on talking about the turnip, if you look outside, it's damp and grey and miserable, and all the trees are shedding their leaves, and it looks miserable and like death. But actually, it's the Celtic New Year. So it's a time for feasting and celebrating, for finishing things, for contemplating what you achieved in the last year and planning what you want to achieve next year. So it's a time according to the Caligny calendar, Samhain means seed fall. So if you imagine a seed as something that you're going to sow in the earth now and guard it and hope that it's going to turn out and manifest as a beautiful plant next year, it's a good time to sow some metaphorical seeds as well. So I've already made my 3 turnips and I'm making a 4th one. And believe me, I know how Michelangelo felt, because as I'm carving these turnips, it's not me that's carving them. They're revealing their own individual faces. So various types of David are appearing here. And the reason we use turnips here in Ireland is because obviously it's a vegetable that grows well here, and people have used them for eons. And so the good thing is you can take the insides out and eat it, but they last a lot longer as well. They don't just fall in on themselves and collapse like pumpkins do. They just slowly shrivel up. And so as you're going into Samhain, as they get older and more shriveled looking, they really, really fit the festival much better. I'm going to use the interior of the turnip to use in a pie and to make a lovely root vegetable soup. And that's what we use for our feast. That's what we eat at our feast, along with apple crumble or apple pie. Apples feature very much. And in the past, there would be lots of games with apples. I'm sure everybody knows apple bobbing and apples on a string. And of course, young girls would have peeled an apple to divine as to who their husband would be. So you peel your apple in one piece, throw it over your shoulder, and it's supposed to land, forming the initial of your future husband's name. Or you could sleep with an apple under your pillow and you would dream about your future husband. Because obviously apples are one of the fruits of the goddess and they represent fertility and fecundity. So again, we're sowing seeds for the future. Another thing that we do is that when we set the table to have our feast, we always leave a place empty in case the ancestors want to come and join us. So any loved ones who've passed on are welcome to come and sit at the table with us, and they have their own seat and their own plate and their own cutlery and everything. We just set a place for them.
Robert says hello to Michael. Everyone else, my phone is acting weird. I don't know if it's been hacked or the battery is going out, so I apologize. Raptor, you don't gotta apologize all the time. You're all the time apologizing. You don't have to apologize for half this stuff. Donald says, Michael, you got Brett out of raising havoc tonight? Huh? Yeah, she's got some decent sized turnips. Like, but only, you know, like, it's very rare you can find them, you know, a good sized turnip for making, you know, a proper jack-o'-lantern. You know, on at the store. Like this one here, I mean, you can see it's not very big. But there it is, hanging behind me. But I've grown them that big in the past. You know, you just gotta grow your own, I guess, if you want to have proper turnips for jack-o'-lanterns. You're welcome, Lowrider. Biggins, yeah, biggins. Yeah, man, just dice them up small, stir fry them with some butter, bacon fat, or whatever, and you might actually like them. Joe says, kind of hot for an old turnip carver. I'm feeling some kind of way watching her. Yeah. Lowrider says, me too, Joe. We need you back at the hospital. What? Look at a little bit more of this.
And in case you decide to come when we're in bed, we smoother the fire. So that means we will cover it lightly with some of the turf, but not enough to keep it blazing, just enough to keep it ticking over. And we would leave perhaps a glass of poaching or a glass of whiskey and some tobacco to welcome the ancestors and encourage them to make themselves feel at home and settle in for the evening and give us a lovely visit. Samhain is also associated with, for some people anyway, the Morrigan or the Great Queen. She's renowned as a warrior queen, a battle queen, and she's a triple goddess. And one of the goddesses in this triplicate is Macha, and she would be known in many, many guises, but one of them is as a bloodthirsty warrior queen as well. And the Celts used to take heads from their enemies, and they would put their heads, like this, for example, into a niche in a special place in their home because they believed the soul was in the head. And so to capture somebody's head was to capture their soul and really create havoc for the enemies. But the heads of the enemies were known as Macha's masked because masks are fallen nuts, and these warriors have fallen in battle, and their heads are like nuts that can be cracked. And the successful warriors would bring these heads back and put them in the niches, as I'm saying. So that's kind of what the turnip heads represent in one way. But there's also some folklore about a fella called Jack. And he was a blacksmith, and he wasn't a very nice man. He wasn't a very good man. He was a miserable drunk and quite stingy as well, and a bit of a trickster, a bit of an underhand double dealer. You know, there's lots of them about today as well. So he's at a gambling game. He's gambling away, and the devil is in the company. And the devil wins the game, and Jack has to forfeit his life, or his soul rather. And he persuades the devil to give him an extra year. And the next year, when the devil comes to claim his winnings, Jack's soul, Jack says, hang on, let's go for a drink first before you take me off. And because he has no money to pay because he's too stingy, he persuades the devil to turn himself into a coin. And the devil does so, but Jack quickly picks the coin and puts it into his pocket where he just happens to have a silver cross. So the devil is powerless. He can't do anything. And then Jack says to the devil, I'll let you go if you promise not to come back for me for 10 years. So the devil says, grand, I'll come back in 10 years. And away he goes. And 10 years later, he comes again to collect Jack's soul. And Jack somehow persuades him to go up into a tree. And then he carves a cross into the tree. And the devil is stuck in the tree because he can't come down past the cross. So this time Jack says to him, I'll let you out of the tree if you promise you will not take my soul. So the devil has to agree. He can't sit in a tree for eternity. So he agrees and off he goes. And then eventually when Jack does die, because he's such a miserable, cheating, two-faced, backstabbing, horrible individual, God says, no, you're not coming into heaven. And when Jack gets down to hell, the devil says, sorry, you can't come in here because we had an agreement that I would not take your soul. So what he did instead was he gave him a coal from one of hell's fires. And Jack had to create a lantern like these, put his coal into it, and he's traveling the earth today. And that's just how we got the jack-o'-lantern. So this carving of the turnip is commemorating and reminding us not to be double-dealing, backstabbing, cheating, lying, and all those other horrible things that so many in the world are behaving today. And another custom today, we see children running around with the little costumes on, and they're looking for money. They go from house to house trick-or-treating. And the origin of that is that in the past, children would indeed go from house to house, but they used to make little cakes. And they would go and sell the little cakes. They were called soul cakes. And what they would do is they would go to each house and ask for some money to say a mass for all the souls that had passed over, and they would give the people the little cakes in exchange. They're pretty much selling these little cakes to their neighbors. But now it's the reverse. The neighbors that the children visit today are giving the children something, and the whole notion of the souls that are sitting there waiting for help, they're completely forgotten about because it's become so commercialized.
Michael says, I wonder if a turnip that big is good to eat. I've eaten them that big. They're perfectly fine. I just think, I mean, there might be, like, I don't know. I mean, you know, turnips sometimes taste a little differently from one to another. I guess some people notice more than I do. All I know is the way I prefer to cook them is cook the hell out of them, butter the shit out of them, and you know, like if you boil them, you know, cut them up, boil the shit out of them. But ideally, slice it up after you got it cooked and brown it on a griddle, and it will be good. Or dice it up. I've diced it up a lot of times and then just kind of fried it up like potatoes, you know, got it good and brown, and just make sure they're thoroughly cooked. They're like sweet potatoes. You got to make sure you thoroughly cook them when you make sweet potato fries. You got to be careful. They're not like potatoes. You got to really make sure you get them thoroughly cooked. Oh, no big deal. I've been, I don't know, sometime back, I just rinsed everybody. You know, everybody, people are saying, why don't you have mods on the main channel? And I was like, well, I really just want to try and handle stuff myself. You know, I don't want to you know, because bots weren't that big of a problem, and I don't want mods. I'm really concerned about mods. You know, it's so easy for a mod. They'll get too heavy-handed. Like I don't know how many times I've said it. Like we do not block people here. We do not block people here. They can come in here, they can call me an asshole or whatever they want to call me. I don't give a fuck because I'm all about free speech. They can call me whatever they want. I don't care. But you know, I can see that a person might become so disruptive that at some point they're basically hindering everybody else's right to free speech because they're just disrupting the shit out of the chat. If it gets to that point, I'll block them. But or I'll say to a specific mod, go ahead and block that person. But for the most, pretty standard is we don't block people. The bots, yeah, you get rid of bots. But that's how I was doing the main channel, and now I've gone ahead and added, I don't know, several people over there as mods because it's just, you know, feel like I can trust them, and you know, no timeouts, no blocking of people, even if they're just, you know, even if they're calling me names. It's free speech. That's the way I roll. They can say what they want. You know, an insignificant person's opinion of me isn't significant to me, right? So, yeah. But so anyway, while that was going on, and I came over here and I ended up just modding everybody over here to just said screw it and just modded everybody over here. And because if you look in the old videos on this channel, some of them are videos that are on the other channel, because this is where I come to when my main channel gets suspended, right? Because I can't live stream to my main channel right now. That's why we're on this one right now. But I also used this channel when I was following the convoy situation, and I actually went and physically drove with them for a segment of their journey here in the United States, and but I didn't go all the way. But anyway, so I was covering a lot of that, you know, and did some live streams on that. And so they're on this channel, not on the other channel. But yeah, no problem. Cowboy says, I know I wasn't worth much before I ate that apple pie, but I ain't worth a damn now. Yeah, apple pie, especially if you got blood sugar issues, it could fuck you up. Uncle Bone says, Michael, she said earlier, carve out the insides to cook, so they must be okay. Oh yeah, I mean, you totally can cook them. Just, I mean, I just, my best advice for turnips is cook it very thoroughly and brown it, fry it in some butter, some bacon grease, something, you know, get some flavor on it, and it'll be all right. Carbohydrate coma, yeah. Full and happy. Feel like a tick. Michael says, I love turnips. Yeah, I like them pretty good too. I need to look up like how bad the carbs are in them. I never have really looked them up. I just assumed that they were not very keto. You could probably eat like a small serving of it and be okay. Because I wouldn't think they'd be as high in carbs as like potatoes. But you can't really be eating potatoes if you're trying to keep on a ketogenic diet. Of course, none of these things are healthy for humans at all. You shouldn't eat any of it. You should eat carnivore. So I don't know how much I have. I mean, I just have to keep driving it home. People don't listen. People won't believe it. Like, they've been told their whole lives that certain things are healthy for them, that vegetables are healthy for you. And that's 100% demonstrably false. Vegetables are not good for you. Feeding vegetables to a human would be like feeding vegetables to a lion. You're gonna mess him up. They're poisonous. You're not supposed to eat that shit. Rutabaga is pretty close to the same thing, really. I think it's actually a cross between turnips and something very closely related, but started in the Fat Man Speedo, like them also. Chessboard, yes, sir. Donald says, and I always thought these holidays were made up by candy companies. Well, they took them over, right? They took it over. Criminally, really criminal. It's because, you know, they have to know. Like the people that own these big food companies and the people in the government, they have to know that encouraging people to give children candy at all, any kind of sugar, any kind of carbs, any kind of even vegetables is bad for them, and setting them up for lifelong disease development and suffering for the last 3 decades of their lives. They have to know this shit. So it's criminal, right? It's criminal what they're doing. You know, if someone sold a kid crack, you would throw their ass in jail. But you sell them something that's poisonous to them, like candy or broccoli. Yes, broccoli. Broccoli's poisonous to people. You know, giving these things to kids should be criminal. Should be a criminal offense. It's child abuse. Like, people haven't been taught that, though. They've been taught that, oh, you feed your kid, you feed your baby this, you know, green pea slop baby food shit that just looks horrible and smells horrible. And I don't remember the taste of it. I'm sure I probably ate some of it at some point. Probably tastes like absolute shit to a kid, to a child, a poisonous substance to a child. And all these substances are poisonous to these kids. And they have to know. They have to know they're engaged in an absolute criminal act of child abuse. But, you know, they're making money, and they make money off of people being sick later in life as well. They like you getting cancer. They like you getting diabetes. They like you getting heart disease. They don't want you to know that if you eat nothing but fatty red meat and fish for your whole life, that you will not get these diseases. It just won't fucking happen. That this isn't normal. It's not supposed to happen. That your dog isn't supposed to get heart disease and diabetes either, but they do because they're eating a lot of human food, and all the dog foods are mostly made of corn, which is not food for a fucking dog. It just isn't. And you wonder why the dogs get diabetes. Dogs ain't supposed to get fucking diabetes. I wonder if there's ever been a documented case of a wolf in the wild getting diabetes. It'd have to be like an extremely rare thing, like the thing had some kind of problem with its system or something. I guarantee you there's not one. And if you never eat anything with carbs in it your whole life, you will not get this disease. It will not fucking happen. But yeah, fucking candy companies, man. Bacon grease, yes. Endive. Some collards. Bacon grease or fatback grease. I think I showed. Did I show that clip from Lewis Black where he was talking about the guy that was frying his bread in fatback, and they asked him why he didn't use bacon, and he said because the bacon was too lean. And this guy had lived like a really long time. They're like, "What's your secret?" Raptor says that the squashing cowboy saying around here is tighter than a flea ass wrapped around a rain barrel. What the fuck? Get in the pot, Kenny. Donald says, I liked World Bigfoot Radio's comments last night saying he has a long block list. Tells you how much he's full of crap. Yeah. You don't block people unless you can't withstand scrutiny at all. If your block list is really long, that means you are extremely unable to withstand scrutiny. World Bigfoot Radio, absolutely full of shit. And y'all, whoever's here that likes him, you can go tell him too. I'm not going to stop saying it because it's goddamn true. He's a goddamn liar. He's a goddamn liar. Just fucking reality. Fucking shit. Chessboard says retro crazy. I heard it was a gnat's ass. Lowrider says if Tom Cruise joined the chat, would you mod him asking for a friend? Probably. On this channel, yeah. I'll mod everybody on this channel. As long as they don't do anything stupid. I wouldn't think they would. I don't think because I don't think a mod can block a mod. So if I just mod everybody, then nobody can fuck anybody over. Nat's ass. Same thing in your area. Mr. Hughes here, he says Lockbeard horn locked. Yep. Got my horns on. Angel says the convoy is why I followed your channels. Awesome, man. Yeah. Have you seen where they've been having those hearings and stuff up there in Canada too? And Canadians, you have got to step up and remove. I mean, the dude is not working. I mean, your government's corrupt. Your government's stepping on your liberties. You gotta do something. You guys have a chance. I think you guys got more of a chance of doing it than Americans do. Like, we're fucked, I think. We're just totally fucked down here. But if Canadians stood up to their government, we would see Trudeau running his cowardly, worthless, pathetic little fucking ass across our border for help. He'd be like, yeah, you got to help me. Don't let him get across the border. Capture him. He's a criminal. Needs to go to jail. Angel says the convoy's how. Oh, I already read that. Thank you for coming to my channel, though. Cowboy says, only issue I have eaten is eating the rest of it. Hillbilly Mr. Hugh. There's Mogs. He says, sup, bitches. Sup to the bitches. You gotta say to the bitches, whatever, bitches. And the bitches whatevered. Good show last night. Gamer in Stevie's car. O2 sensor. Cowboy says, I hope my granddaughter gets lots of candy because Monday she'll be in school. Guess where I'll be? Get the F frog pick. Kermit's dick pic. What the hell? I don't know if you're going to be able to get much of a dick pic off of a frog. They don't they're not really well known for being all hung and shit. So this is a channel called The Witch's Cookery. And this is a video she made, basically kind of her instruction manual on, how to be a witch, really.
Period you need to fulfill in order to become a witch. Basically, you only have to bring one thing to the table. You have to be curious, interested in learning more about witchcraft in whatever form. And you have to be eager to practice a lifestyle that empowers you and sharpens your senses for the natural world and energies around you. And that is it. You can be of whatever religion, be it Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Jewish, or whatever else, and still practice witchcraft. You can be atheist, agnostic, or belong to a faith that involves witchcraft and practice like Wicca or some forms of new paganism. Even though there are hereditary witches, you don't have to have ancestors that have practiced witchcraft. You don't need to be raised in witchcraft. You don't have to grow up with it in order to be a witch or practice witchcraft. You can create your own journey. You can be of whatever ethnicity, age, culture, or gender in order to practice witchcraft. Anyone practicing witchcraft, regardless of gender, will be titled witch, and your culture can obviously enrich your path in witchcraft if you research or have been growing up with certain customs. But even if you haven't, you can still learn anything you like. Just keep in mind that there are a handful of closed practices that are sacred to practitioners of certain cultures. You don't need to have any special gift, have certain bodily marks, dress in a particular way, have specific hobbies, personality traits, be a medium psychic, or whatever else. Having or not having those abilities doesn't make you any more or less of a witch than any other practitioner. And these are the basic facts. So now that we have that covered, let's move on to step 2. Research. You obviously first want to learn more about witchcraft. And there's so much out there to learn, especially once you actually understand and see how versatile witchcraft can be. From folk to color magic, hoodoo, voodoo, say, tarot and runes, tree oracle, shamanism, earth magic, green witchcraft, half witchery, and so much more. So not to overwhelm yourself, I would suggest to start with researching something that you're very passionate about, that you're very interested in, because that will keep you interested and keep studying. And in the process, you will stumble across new terms, new words that then direct you in another kind of research in another way for things to look up. So you will learn as you go. And that's basically how you build your knowledge. And there are many amazing books out there. If you don't want to buy books, or you can't afford them, or you don't want to have them laying around at home, there are many other options. You have a lot of things available in public libraries. You can research a lot online on the internet. There are fantastic podcasts, there are lovely YouTube videos out there. And I will link you a couple of great sources down below. Know that studying never really is done and that you can't possibly learn everything. You will continuously be learning through your path. It is a constantly developing and changing lifestyle, craft, and experience. If you're looking for some inspiration on what to research, here are some ideas. The history and historic context of witchcraft, folklore and folk beliefs of different cultures, herbalism, healing crystals, astrology, forms of divination, the history of Wicca and its rules and hierarchy system if you're following a Wiccan path, pagan pantheons from all over the world, or your ancient ancestors, color magic, numerology, the law of attraction, sigil magic, which practices are closed and which ones are open, ceremonial magic, different points of focus in witchcraft, druidism, demonology, energy work, light work, dream work, and so on and so forth. Of course, you don't have to find all of that interesting or practice all of that. You will find your own path and focus on the things that are important to you and that bring value into your own life. You might also have heard of different...
See Stevie B's here. Welcome. Send me the pic, huh? Frog dick. Raptor says hello, Stevie B. I hope you're having a great evening. This is a long video. Like, y'all can, if it looks like something that interests you, you got to check it out. The Witch's Cookery. So I'm not going to play the whole thing. And there's so many out there. Like, it's out there. You just, if you want to understand it better, just look into it, check it out. Tons and tons of channels on YouTube, tons and tons of websites, all kinds of different ideas about how it goes. But you see them use the symbol, the pentagram symbol. Not one of these people understand the origin of that symbol, though. You see it in the intro to this. You see it on the section of the intro that has to do with Ken Wheeler. And Ken Wheeler is the reason why I send people that way is because, you know, you have to go down that road. If you're going to learn how the universe functions, you gotta go somewhere to learn. And Ken Wheeler's the only person on the goddamn planet I know of that seems to have a passion for teaching people that. His entire YouTube channel is built around trying to teach you. I don't know that he's necessarily effective as a teacher, but the information's there. And, you know, you need to look at like his book, The Missing Secrets of Magnetism, because these mainstream scientists do not have a proper explanation of what magnetism is. And Ken Wheeler's the one that kind of figured that out. So when you like Joe was talking about these earth lights earlier, a lot of people think they're seeing these orbs and they think it's some kind of magical thing. But you know, if you're talking about, you know, everything's fields. You know, I'm not going to grab that magnet, but you know, if I'm holding that magnet in my hand, it's got a coherent field. The Earth has its field, right? But it's mostly incoherent. So what does that mean? Okay, a laser compared to a light bulb, right? A laser compared to a light bulb. Laser's coherent, light bulb's incoherent. It's like you line it up and make it powerful. Kim Wheeler always mentions a 5 watt. You know, he always because 5 watt, right? A 5 watt light bulb ain't gonna make any light really hardly at all. You're not gonna be able to read by it. But a 5 watt laser will burn a hole through you. So what's the difference? It's coherency. Same goes for fields. So you know, gravity is an example of incoherent magnetism. That's all it is. Mainstream science doesn't understand that. They're thinking of gravity as its own force. It's just the same thing as magnetism. They don't understand it. They're making perfectly good observations, but incorrect interpretations of a lot of shit. So what does this have to do with paranormal shit? It has everything to do with paranormal shit. It thoroughly explains paranormal, all paranormal phenomena, all of it, with science. But mainstream science doesn't buy into it, and the spiritual people, you know, they're just they want to believe in spiritual stuff, right? They want to believe everything's magical. They want, and unfortunately, if they were to ever truly understand what in the fuck I'm talking about, it would take all the magic out of it pretty much, because it's not really, because there's a scientific explanation for it. Ghost, scientific explanation for it. Orbs, scientific explanation for all this shit. But nobody wants this answer, you know, the correct answer to everything. Nobody wants it. You know, these people over here are like, well, if you're telling me this, then my idea of what God is wrong. Probably, yeah. So, don't you want greater understanding of what the thing is that you call divine? Because this will give you a greater understanding of it. Now, it's not some gray bearded dude sitting on a cloud waving a magic wand. It's just not. Is there something weirder going on than mainstream science is willing to accept? Yes, absolutely. But it's scientifically explainable. So you tell them, so it's a lot to unpack. The entire universe, like, because the entire universe is conscious itself. You got to understand that. All is consciousness. And explaining that's, you know, difficult. You know, Einstein, you know, he mentioned, you know, instantaneous action at a distance. You've heard of that in science, right? He called it spooky action, right? Because he didn't understand how the fuck that could be. Because in Einstein's world, there's a limit on how fast shit can go, right? Speed of light. Well, instantaneous action at a distance means information of some form is being transmitted instantaneously. There is no speed limit on it. It's instantaneous. So this speed of light bullshit goes out the window. Plus the fact that, you know, you try to measure the light going through water or glass compared to air, it goes at different speeds. Well, how can you have a fucking constant in your little E equals MC squared bullshit if it isn't constant? It's demonstrably not constant. They've done experiments where they've proven it's not goddamn constant. It depends on what medium it's transferring through. Why? Because there is not a speed of light. That's bullshit. That's a misunderstanding of the observations. Shit. Joe says, I have no idea what's going on. Neither does most people. So maybe I should reel it back to the pentagram, right? Donald says this was frowned upon here in New England not too long ago. Oh yeah, yeah. Because they think it's of Satan. Anything that isn't part of my religion is satanic, right? Pagan is Satan. It's not satanic about it. Your fucking religion stole a lot of the traditions, right? You know, you drive by a goddamn church, right? And you have kids out there hunting Easter eggs. You know, that whole thing come from pagan practices, you know, it's pagan stuff. Why the hell are kids hunting Easter eggs at a goddamn church? You guys are hypocrites if you do that. You're hypocrites. You know, a lot of them probably have no idea. They don't know. They don't know. The reality is none of these beliefs that they're all, everybody's trying to understand the universe, but they're falling short. All of them. So the pentagram, right? People are using this pentagram. You got the Christians over here think it's this evil symbol, it's a satanic symbol, blah blah blah. Yeah, the witches over here, they have their ideas, you know what it is. You just gotta look. Ken Wheeler has that geometry, not the full pentagram. I don't think he's just got the triangle, because the pentagram is made of 3 of those triangles put together. The ancients did this for it's a science. It's based on a science, and you got to go. It'll take you time to really absorb what that's all about. That it's not some kind of satanic symbol. It has to do with the geometry that life functions on, that the universe functions on. So that would be, I mean, I don't know. It's probably pretty deep, you know, science for a lot of people to dive into. You know, if you want to understand how the universe functions, that's my recommendation to you. Go over to, because I'm not replicating all that shit here. I don't have the means to. Ken Wheeler was the one who actually discovered what magnetism actually is, and a lot of shit. You know, I was so glad to have found him, because I was like looking at some of the things in science that weren't lining up, and I was like, this is a real sad state of affairs for the world. If everyone is buying into this bullshit that Einstein is this genius, when, you know, like the other night, I brought up in the chat that he was a plagiarist. Most people aren't aware of that. and Nikki looked it up because, you know, fact check my ass. Please fact check my ass. I like it when people fact check my ass because then they find out I'm telling them the goddamn truth. I'm not just making shit up. It's the goddamn truth. And sure shit, she discovered that he did. He plagiarized the shit. And he plagiarized shit that wasn't even correct, for one. You know, when you work at a patent office, I imagine it gives you plenty of opportunities to maybe steal some ideas. Right? Einstein was a parasite, a plagiarist. He was not the genius you think he was. You want to see geniuses, you need to look at people like Tesla and Heaviside and those kind of guys, and Ken Wheeler. Now, if you go watch him, you know, you're like, what the fuck is this? Look at this fucker. Look, geniuses don't look like goddamn Superman, okay? Sometimes they're a fat, bald, tattooed, goofy motherfucker like Ken Wheeler. But he's extremely intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. And he will explain all the shit of why mainstream science is wrong. Quantum physics is bullshit. Again, it fools a lot of people because they're like, well, this is true and this is true. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's true, but they're misinterpreting a bunch of observations. And because of that, people can't ever get to a true understanding of what the spiritual realm is, right? You got people divided into two camps because of this. You got people that they know, they sense the spiritual realm is there in one way or another, but there's no scientific explanation that they've been given, so it's a magical thing. And then of course you have the other side, the atheists and whatnot, who, you know, they don't believe in magic, they believe in science, and science can't explain the spiritual, not mainstream science anyway, so they reject it altogether. When in reality, it should not be rejected and it should not be considered magic. It should be accepted for and the scientific explanation known, but they're not going to tell you that because it's like that Large Hadron Collider. Billions of dollars are getting spent on this bullshit. Probably a lot of the scientists know damn good and well that they're not doing anything of very meaningful. They're not going to discover another particle. There's no smaller particles than a proton. There just isn't. Everything below that is some kind of energy wave, and that's it. Like there's no photon particle, there's no electron particle. That's all bullshit. That's misinterpretations of the observations. They're getting better about recognizing some of the fuzziness of this shit, right? But they're locked in. They're stuck in this box. They're having a hard time getting out of this box. So they have to keep coming up with bullshit explanations for this observation and that observation because they don't fit with the rest of their picture. They can't ever achieve grand unification because they've created puzzle pieces that don't fit together. Why? Because they got parts of them wrong. So this is why they come up with bullshit like space-time and quantum foam and dark matter and all this bullshit that's perfectly explained if you just take your happy asses over to Ken's channel. Go over there and try your best to absorb, and that's all that's there. I don't want to go too much into the shit here. But it's all there. It's all there. Explanation for how the universe functions. The ancients knew about all this shit, and it got lost. Okay, it got lost because the ancient civilization, massive, technologically advanced, worldwide civilization. People are starting to realize that it existed, and it did. They knew all this shit. They knew the ether was real. Basic substrate of the universe, the canvas upon which reality is painted. It's real. And mainstream science just hasn't caught up to that yet. That's hard for people to swallow because they've been taught, oh, humans started out, gradually progressed to now. We're the top of the... No, we're not the top. Guaranteed we're not the fucking top. But a greater civilization existed before this one. So, let me catch up in the chat here. You sent me a picture of a frog testicles. Foul problem. Donald says, Mogs, if the O2 is exhaust manifold, heat up, quench it with some penetrating oil, get it to come out. Stressful about the truck. Truck has 4. Donald says, chessboard, yes, and being a Florida vehicle, if it's a lower, it should come right out. Huh. Could be a biatch. Let me see what we got here in the email box. Yeah, that ain't right there. That ain't right there. That frog, it's probably like a leg that grew out, like a partially developed leg or something. Or he ate Taco Bell and that's his distended colon or some shit. Whatever it is, it ain't right. This ain't right. What the fuck? Stevie says, I know, just constantly dumping money into it. At what point do I say enough is enough? Yeah, you got to figure that out. That's for sure. The vehicle I had before this van, I kept having things break, and finally a friend of mine told me, said, look, it's over. It's done. Need something new. So I got this. Got the van. Dual exhaust. Yeah, that ain't natural right there. That ain't natural. Mr. Hugh laughing at chessboard over that one. I wonder if they have a lot of frogs with deformities in that area. I mean, it could just be a random one, but if you're seeing a lot of deformities in that area, it might be a good idea to alert somebody. So, look, we got a bunch of deformed frogs over here, so there might be some kind of contamination. So, if your kids are out there, your dogs are out there, it might be something you want to look at. Joe says, Jiminy Christmas. What the fuck? Yeah, indeed. Donald says, chessboard Ford's answer to fuel injection is using 4 O2 sensors. Holiday fuel injection can run and perform off one. I don't know. Chessboard sent that shit. Mogs told him to do it. Brandy says it ain't easy being green and hard. Yeah, there's something wrong with that frog. I knew somebody was gonna say it. I knew somebody was gonna say it. Frog got bigger dong than me, he says. Stevie says, well, Joe, that's just sad. Raptor says, looks like Kermit is packing. Yeah, something wrong with that frog. It's deformed. Or somebody glued that thing on there. I don't know. One or the other. Yep. Let's get rid of that frog. I don't think we're going to be using that in our witch's brew, are we? No. That frog don't belong in the witch's brew. Chessboard says it's a Fukushima frog moving south. Donald says deformed or one lucky SOB. Well, I don't know. If you want a deformity where you have a abnormally enlarged dong on you. Jen says leave the room and come back to frog porn. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck that happened. I was just telling people the explanation for the whole goddamn universe. They want to look at a frog dick. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Joe says, just think what Miss Piggy would say if Kermie had one like that. Maybe that's why she was always all up on his jock. Frog porn indeed. Shit. Oh. Let me see here. Let me see here. I got to have some kind of answer to this. Yep. And I believe this will do. Get this pulled up.
I'm stoned off my balls. Anybody got more of that Luba Luba weed?
Wow, those guys have nice balls. Wish my man had balls like those.
Yeah, did we get a copyright strike on that shit? South Park seems bad about that. Butter my hams, Kermit. Gosh. Just that Raptor crazy just made me spit my beer. Why? Because she would say, butter my hams, Kermit. I bet she would. She was always sexually harassing Kermit. Brandy singing Jeremiah was a bullfrog. What a big dong he had. Seems she's changed the lyrics. He never played with it out in the woods, but he'd shake it all over the land. Well, why didn't he play with it? Randy. Yeah, we definitely we devolved into frog porn. What are you gonna do? I was trying to stick to witchcraft here, but I don't know what the hell. I guess frogs have something to do with it. How's the song go, Brandy? Frogs and snails and puppy dog tails. This may laugh like that. Brandy Froggy went a courting. And he did ride. I'm not sure what all's in this video. The Stitching Witch.
Hi, bitches! Thank you so much for joining me today to chat all about Samhain. Yay! Oh my gosh, I am so excited, and I hope yesterday's new moon and solar eclipse energies were productive for you. Many, many blessings to you all, and thank you again for joining me today. Now, today we're going to be chatting all about this upcoming holiday on the Wheel of the Year, Samhain. Now, if you're one of my friends joining me from the Southern Hemisphere, be sure to check out my videos on Beltane, which is the holiday that you will likely be celebrating to honor that midpoint between spring and summer. Hopefully the weather is warming up for you. Now, contrary to popular belief, Samhain was not the name of some ancient Celtic god of death, and I do blame Hollywood for perpetuating that myth. Now, let's practice together saying the name of this holiday. It is Samhain. Samhain, not Samhain, like, again, Hollywood likes to say, but Samhain. And again, it comes from Irish. It's an Irish word, meaning summer's end. Possibly there is a little bit of debate as to what the word actually meant back in those days. However, Irish is still a living language, so it's really good to try your best to pronounce things as accurately as possible. And again, thank you so much to all of my Irish viewers who helped me with practicing those pronunciations. It has been such a gift to be able to learn how to say things properly, and it has.
She's entirely too happy. There's actually some slightly different variations on the pronunciation for different languages, but I don't know them all. But there are some. So Samhain is absolutely wrong, of course. There was some movie where they were using that. I can't remember which movie it was where they were saying that. I'm like, I think it was. What was it? I can't remember which movie it was. And I was like, how in the fuck did they not get this right? I don't know. I shouldn't be surprised. Hollywood's half the time is being goddamn hacks. They don't do enough research about what their subject matter is, and they get shit wrong. And I remember, and I can't remember what the movie was, but they were pronouncing it Samhain. I'm like, what the fuck? So anybody talks about liking frog legs, I'm going to have to wonder. Pronounces it right. Yeah. Brandy says, could you imagine that Froggy playing leapfrog be hitting the other poor froggies in the head when oh my gosh. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? It was actually yeah. One movie that they should get that shit right in. If there's any movie they should get that shit right in, it should be in that one. Yeah. I don't know if I could get through any more of her videos. Sure, she's very nice. Oh, hell. Come on now. Cooperate. Let me see here. Give me a minute. Donald says, could have an unfair advantage, Brandy. Wrong spot. Afraid to go fishing now. Brandy says, I know what you were doing. What? What was I doing? Got to sped up slightly. See if I can fool the bots. Don't want them throwing a freaking copyright claim on me again. Stevie says I'll be smacked in the face, Brandy. Is that your song? Dance, baby, dance.
Well, I saw my baby crying for the babe could cry. What could I do? My baby's done had gone. Left my baby blue. Nobody knew.
We still alive. Dance magic dance. Yeah, dance magic dance. Sped up a little bit to fool the YouTube AI from shutting down another live stream. Although I imagine they'd probably just be temporary and I could come right back in, but probably not. Probably wouldn't be like shut down the channel situation.
What kind of magic spell to use? Slime and snails, or puppy dog snail. Thunder or light. And baby said, dance, magic dance, dance, magic dance. Jump, magic jump, magic jump, jump, magic jump. Slap that baby, make him breathe.
Yeah, I fucking ruined it for Brandy. Messed up her song. Yeah, see if we can get away with a little bit more.
In 9 hours and 23 minutes, you'll be mine. I saw my baby trying hard as.
Joe says, I'm going to sing Jeremiah Was Bullfrog with Brandy's lyrics from now on. They only kick me out of so many places in a week. Brandy says, that's little dude says it. What? That little dude says what? Donald says, isn't this the one that got you slapped last time? No, that was Cole the Conqueror. Well, unless you're talking about sometime in the past, it might have happened. From this, maybe. I just don't know why they make a big deal. It's on YouTube. Like, it's already there for people to view freely, so I don't know what the problem is. So
Babe, good time. What could I do? My baby's mom has gone and left my baby blue. Nobody knew what kind of magic spell to use. I never liked and this is dance magic dance magic dance.
excuse the language. What language? I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Tempting fate with play and all that. Brandy says, I didn't hear frog. Is it blocking your comments? I don't know. I put everything you said on screen. Was there one that was missing? Because that's all I got on the screen. Joe says, Big Dick Frogman, the new cryptid everyone is into now. Oh, shit. We got a new cryptid. Got a new cryptid. Let's see. I thought I heard a rumor somewhere that they were going to make another, like a sequel to The Labyrinth. But I don't know if it's true, if it's something somebody was wanting to do, and it was just something that was being talked about. I don't know. Donald says, could be Brandy. I was trying to say in Joe's chat earlier that we're getting blocked. So some of your comments weren't coming through. Are they not all coming through here? Because I'm putting everything on screen right now. Apparently they don't like you using caps in the chats no more. Well, I've noticed that over time. Like every so often they get real finicky about using caps or using emojis. And other times you can get away with it. Or you might be not able to get away with it on one channel in their chat, but then you go to another one right after, and then you can. Brandy says, I'll flip shit if they mess that movie up. Well, you know they're going to fuck it up if they make a sequel. They do that with everything pretty much. Occasionally they manage not to, like Top Gun. Like I think they did it just fine. They managed not to turn it into a woke ass nightmare. But you go look at pretty much anything else they've made sequels of, especially the recent sequels, but sometimes older, going further back, 10, 20 years, sometimes they manage to screw up movies with the sequels. Like some people don't like, they don't like that they made sequels to Matrix, for example. I was okay with the 2 sequels to it. I was okay with the 3 original movies. I haven't seen the new one they made, but everything that I've seen online, all the clips and synopses and and breakdowns and all that stuff looks absolutely goddamn horrible. You know, so I probably won't see it. I probably won't go see it. Jen says, do you think that kid in the movie grew up with those puppets in his nightmares? Yeah, you know, I wonder that about kids, and they put babies in movies if it had some long lasting psychological effects on the kids, and how negative they may have been. Joe says, why would that be, Donald? I don't censor anyone. No, he's not even saying that you are. It's YouTube, man. YouTube be taking your comments out. Like, not even letting, they shadow ban your comments. So you type it in and you see it go into the chat, but no one else sees it. That's why I get all up on it sometimes, because and I know, like, I can see it, and then some other people in chat can see it, but some people can't. So it doesn't affect everybody the same. Like, the YouTube's doing some fucking crazy ass bullshit, and I catch them in the act all the time. Other people have caught them in the act, and then when the viewers bring it up, the owner of channels, like, you know, gets defensive a lot of the time. Like, hey, I don't do this. They're not saying you do it. Well, sometimes they do, but in your case, definitely nobody's saying that you're doing it. It's goddamn YouTube, man. And they censor your shit. You say shit they don't like, they got their shit where they'll fuck with you. They do it. They're trying to get you pissed off. They're trying to jack with you, get you mad, make you, maybe you say something bad enough to think, oh, we gotta ban you for this because blah 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 blah. Yeah. Donald says it's YouTube doing it. Yep. Brady says, oh my God, they're blocking my comments. How rude. How can I get around it, arseholes? Huh? That's effed up, says Joe. Brandy says, that tiny dude that changes Sarah's marking says your mother is a... Does he? Does he really say that? Oh yeah, if you're typing that word in there, YouTube will block that shit. Guaranteed they'll block that shit. Yeah. Even though gay people out there calling each other that sometimes, you know, fucking stop it. Stop with the censorship. Just let people talk. If someone gets offended, then they're weak and goddamn pathetic. Let them be weak and goddamn pathetic, I guess. Every time someone screeches, oh my gosh, that offends me, I don't give a fuck. You know, there's a lot of shit you could be offended about. Everybody can come up with some bullshit they can be offended about, but at the end of the day, we just need to have free speech, and people just need to grow goddamn thick skin and just deal with it. Because they're making it where you can't talk. They're making it where you're typing shit in and you're thinking you're having a conversation, but you're not. And I see that with the comments in my channel, where I have to go in, like, these comments got held for approval. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking hold shit for approval. Let everything lay out. Let everything lay out. It's just words. How the goddamn fuck is words a problem? Just fuck, put the words on the fucking screen. You know. Now, what you put in the video, right? Because there's some questionable shit going on some people's videos in our channel. That's a different story. But words? How the fuck is words in any form going to be something illegal, right? Because there's some shit you can put in your video that's illegal. You know, now I get that. Totally, right? But words? Just put that shit on the screen. I mean, you don't even need like in real life, you can't go into a crowded building and yell fire, right? You don't even need that kind of shit online because it's online. There's no reason to hinder any kind of free speech. Brandy says, yes, Stevie, YouTube is blocking something I'm trying to say, so I'm trying to get around it. Starting to worry. Jesper says, good script writers no longer exist. Yeah, they fucking don't, man. It's maddening. It's maddening. You can't go to the theater and see a well-crafted story. You just can't. I think they're starting to snap out of it a little bit. They're starting to, because the money, right? There's only so long you can push this game and lose tons of money before you have to admit, okay, maybe we just need to keep our goddamn politics to ourselves and provide our customers with a good product. Because this shit they're producing, it's not a good product, right? Like they had that movie, the Bros or something. Was it Bros? Gay movie, right? Your average citizen, who's not gay, is not interested in seeing that movie. And and on top of that, you had them people telling you, "Oh, this ain't for you," but you have that whole thing, right? This movie ain't for you. Like the new Wakanda movie or whatever. They're out there, like some of the crazy shit they're saying about that. They're trying to say that white people should buy a ticket and go give it to a black person, and then that white person should sit outside the movie theater and make sure nothing guard them or something to make sure that they can peacefully watch the movie that's made for the black people and it's not made for you white fucks. It's some good. There's people out there reporting on this and talking about this. It's some racist ass shit. Apparently the new Wakanda movie is not for me. And it's not, not for any of you. These fuckers are nuts. They're lost their goddamn minds. No, I'm not going to buy a ticket for someone else and sit out the theater and guard it so they can. No, everyone's free to go buy a goddamn ticket for their goddamn selves and watch their movie if they want. But me, the way Hollywood's acting with all this bullshit, and plus they fucked up the MCU anyway. They completely screwed up the MCU. I'm not going to watch this damn movie, and I'm not buying someone else a ticket. Kiss my ass. I'm not going to watch your gay movie either, your Bros movie. I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Most people weren't. I don't know how bad they did. They did really bad, though. And then they got upset about it. They're like, it's because you people didn't go watch it. You made a movie that did not interest us. And on top of that, you told us it wasn't for us. What the fuck did you expect? Jesus Christ. It's retarded. It's insane. So, but I think it's getting to a point where the bottom line is going to fix this situation. And maybe we can get some good movies now because they ain't making hardly anything that's any good. And then they keep trying to live off of the nostalgia thing, and then they made a new Bill and Ted after decades, right? Okay, that's great. I'd love to see a good new Bill and Ted, but what you made was a steaming turd, and it wasn't even. They really should have left it alone because the second movie pretty much finished the story, right? They became the great musicians that they were supposed to be. But they wanted to try and milk some nostalgia dollars, while also slipping in some bullshit to where, where they stole their fire, right? Brian Chewy says, hello, chat and Lockbeard. Change the wording. Yeah, she's trying to say like exactly what she said that the thing said. Jesper says, Brandy, change the wording. Donald says, I was just saying some of the lyrics to Stomping Tom Connor's Bigfoot song and they were blocking it. Nothing bad about them. Brian and Chewy, welcome to the chat. Randy says, Stevie, that worked though. Yeah, it's just stupid. They should just let you say whatever you want to say. Hopefully someone comes and pulls some Elon Musk shit on YouTube. Because that shit's just... if you took a bunch of news clips and, some shots of the tweets and shit that's going on, Elon Musk has labeled himself as Chief Twit on Twitter. And I don't know, cut that all together into a movie length thing, and that's going to be the movie of the year. It'll be entertaining as fuck. Watching all these people having a meltdown. They were interviewing these people outside of there who were claiming to be employees that just got laid off, but they were lying. I don't know why in the fuck someone thought it was a good idea to go down there and get interviewed by the media out in front of the place and lie about being workers there, but they weren't workers there. I mean, this is how we're doing. See, this is why you get shit where people think there's, because there are people out there acting like they're something that they're not, to, I don't know, create issues or try to, maybe they're bored or want to affect the narrative, something. There's always someone trying to lie and getting, a lot of times they just want attention, I think. Like that you had that one woman who got a bunch of guys in trouble because she kept accusing these guys of raping her, and none of them had touched her, and she was just trying to make an ex jealous or something. And anyway, she's in jail because she eventually got taken care of, right? But Brandy says, Chess, I tried changing it. I even used symbols for some of that word, and it blocked that too. Joe says, I swear like a sailor a lot of times, like fucking now. Is anyone fucking offended? I don't think so. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just words. But I mean, I just don't like YouTube censoring. And people try to say, well, YouTube's a private company. No. Fuck off with that shit. The internet is town square, right? You're operating your business in the town square. And in the case of me as a U.S. citizen, I'm interacting on the town square from America, which means that any company that interacts with me on the internet must honor my constitutional rights, the laws of America. So YouTube, you absolutely cannot, constitutionally speaking, censor any of my speech or anyone else's speech that's interacting with me. If that person is in a country that does have draconian laws like that, you may be able to censor their speech as far as any interaction they have with people within their borders. But when that person interacts with me in America, you have to let every goddamn letter come through to me, because we have free speech here. And eventually, I hope that this ends up, going to court somehow, and someone's able to sue the fuck out of Alphabet Corporation, the parent company. And somebody needs to go to jail. Their heads need to roll. Heads need to roll over this shit, because they've been violating the rights of the people. You can claim, oh, it's private property when you're on actual physical private property, but you're on the internet, motherfuckers, and this is a whole different deal. This isn't your brick and mortar store, right? If you're in a brick and mortar store, you can do whatever the fuck you want. It's funny how they want to do that. They want to push that limit to what they can get away with doing as a private company on the internet. But then the same people that will advocate for that, because it's supporting the left, right? They will bitch about a baker who won't serve a cake to a gay couple. I'll not see the fucking hypocrisy here. It's, it's worse than hypocrisy. It's not even the same situation. That is their physical property, and it's their religious belief. They have a goddamn right not to sell a cake to anybody they want. Not even, it doesn't even have to do with a religious belief. It could just be, we refuse to serve anybody. We reserve the right to refuse service to anybody. Period. We don't need to give you a reason. Don't like the way you look. Fuck off. That's called freedom of association, and that's a right. That's a right. You can disagree with it all day long, but just if you don't like it, too bad. They don't have to associate with you. They don't have to do business with you. Why do you want to give them your money if you don't like what they're doing anyway? Go do business with a gay baker. I would think there would be plenty of those. Oh, shit. Raptor says that Lockbeard on your channel, you need to make it over 18 because YouTube is trying to make a family-friendly lot of channels getting blocked for stuff they do. Well, I don't know what else I need to do. Like I mark everything when I mark everything not for kids. So I don't know if there's some kind of setting I'm missing. Brandy says I tried spacing chess. And I know the tricks. It still got my ass. Problem is they know the tricks too. So they get me too. Joe says the only power words have is the power you give them. Yeah. Yeah. For magic spells as well, right? Because or spiritual entities. Again, I hate to use the word spiritual. It carries so much connotation. Scientifically explainable thing. But anyway, it's correct that if you give them the power to affect you, then they can affect you. Brandy says I didn't think mods got censored at all. Oh, they'll censor anyone. YouTube's the ultimate mod, right? They'll censor anybody. All time. Fucking A. Yeah. Office Space. Chessboard says lawyers in DC changed the meaning to suit their agenda. Jen says I was going for fuck no, but went with nah. Stevie, my go is a fucking hell. Just as right. Why is the law uses Latin? Donald says, sorry, but all Bill and Ted's movies suck. Oh, you didn't like the original ones? Brandy's like, no way, Donald. I like the original ones. Look, you gotta, that's just one of those movies where you gotta suspend disbelief like all the way. Because it's just, there's nothing plausible at all in that movie. It's just in those movies. But plus, you had George Carlin, man. Come on. Joe says there's lots of movies they should never have made a remake of because they just ruined it. Yeah, it goes for that too. Remakes or sequels, they often screw the whole thing up. Like Total Recall, they made a remake of Total Recall. For one, who's even asking for that? Like who sat there and thought, we need to remake Total Recall. No, you don't need to remake Total Recall. Yeah, Arnold and what's his name? Irons and just pretty good cast, and yeah. They want to update shit and make it look better and maybe tweak some stuff, and they went where it wasn't even going to Mars. They just retarded it. They fucked it up. They should have left it alone. But that's what they keep doing. Brandy says God gave rock and roll to you, man. Yeah, that was the end of the story. They really should have left it right there. Couldn't get into them. Yeah, I can see it might not be for everybody. Like they say, Socrates and Beethoven. We'll save you, Mr. the Kid. Love Bill and Ted. Epic movie. Super bad. McLovin. Yeah. That was one that didn't catch my attention at all. Those Eyes Cry Every Night for You. Don't know if they'd stop making Bugs Bunny. Team parties like that, for fuck's sake. Good band. Donald, Guess Who? Penis-shaped cake for all. Joe says, I don't cake with a cake. What a cake looks like, I eat it. It's fucking cake. You don't care what it looks like. Brian says, chat is way out of line. I like it. Brandy says, noted Joe wants a Bigfoot penis cake for his birthday. Right, Rasta on the cake. Rasta Sweet Confections. Raptor says, and Brandy, if you did that for Joe, wouldn't that be called a big ass stump? Cream-filled. Big long Rasta cake. Oh my gosh. Joe says, hey, like I said, Brandy, it's fucking cake. Hell yeah, give me a big old Sasquatch dong cake. Man, what in the hell have we started here? Won't ask me again. Oh, man. Donald says, any bakeries in Western New York with the ability to make and deliver a Bigfoot penis cake to Joe? I don't know, but I recommend you get one of those gay bakers I was talking about. I'm sure they would make a very fine penis cake. Shit. Brian says, I can see it now on the Cooking Channel Big Bake Special. January 8th at Brandy. Oh, that's when your birthday is. Well, I don't know. We're 2 hours in. We're over 2 hours in.
Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally me banana. Come and me one go. Live 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch. Daylight come and me one go. 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot punch. Daylight come and me one go. He's a day. Daylight come and me one go. He's a day. He's a day. He's a day. Daylight come and me one go. A beautiful bunch, a ripe banana. Black tarantula.
Nice fucking model. Shut the fuck up. Joe says, but I still have ears left. Yeah, I know. I'm fading fast. Brandy jumping the line. Beetlejuice is another one of those. I think I heard a rumor somewhere that they're thinking of making a sequel to. And, you know, it goes back to what we just talked about. They'll probably screw it up. It seemed, I think they said they were going to use her, but they might not use Keaton. There's no reason why they couldn't use Keaton, I don't think. He hasn't, it hasn't been that long since he played, what was that, villain on, like a Spider-Man villain, wasn't it? Yeah, Spider-Man villain. So he's aged pretty well. And
Brad, please.
so, they could probably have him do Beetlejuice again.
And then go back to the car. We don't want to be any worry. What have you got? How about that? Well, ladies, don't you panic. By the light of the night, it'll all seem all right. I'll get you a satanic mechanic. I'm just a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania.
Love that movie. Beetlejuice, I assume. Raptor says, what we need to do is get Current back on here and we can have him take a picture of his Swamp Thing for Joe. Wouldn't that be good cake or no? 2nd of January. Time to put the horns away. Yeah. Brittany says, Jen, I'll never forget your birthday. It's also Michael's. Brandy says, yes, Keaton is supposed to be in the second one. Okay, awesome. That'll be a good thing. Because, nobody's going to be able, it's just like Batman. Like, he did Batman, and, they just kept switching to different guys, and I don't know, I would rather they just stuck with Keaton. Plus, they had you had the best Joker as well in that, but they just switched these all different kinds of Jokers, these different actors doing Joker. Everybody wants to do Joker, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, the purple one himself. Back to guitar practice. Blessing to all, says Chessboard. Cool, man. We're going to wrap her up in a minute now anyway. Donald says, I used to be proud of having my birthday the same as Lincoln, but after hearing he was not behind black people being equals, I'm kind of embarrassed. Yeah. Take care, Chess. says brandy and gin, and February 16th. Yep.
There's such a sad love deep in your eyes, a kind of elder. Open and close within your eyes. I'll kiss the sky within your eyes. There's such a cool heart beating so fast. It's such a new dreams. A love that will last within your.
Johnny Depp is in the new Beetlejuice, or is going to be in the new Beetlejuice. Joe says, well, I'll just say it. Tim was sexy there. Is it just me? Brandy says, as the world falls down. How old was she when she played in this movie? I don't remember. It seems like she was definitely underage. It's just the movie's kind of creepy, especially when he had all those helping hands all over her. Jersey Devil. Well, it's still kind of who come up with the helping hand scene? Like, that was just not even necessary. I'm sure somebody thought it was cool, and everybody was volunteering to be a helping hand. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't even know why I haven't even tried to look this up yet. But I'm pulling it up now. There we go.
Time you read this, I will be gone, having vomited off. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. It's showtime.
Well, that was a nothing burger. So it's from 3 years ago.
night come and me want go home. Work all night on a drink, I'll
Honey, I think we're dead. We need some help.
How far are you willing to take this? I'm not possessed. We know what that means.
This isn't funny. Where is my portfolio?
6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, run. It's showtime. Me want go home. 6 foot.
Oh, this is somebody's movie trailer. I saw Back to Future 4. I was like, no, don't even. It says somebody's movie trailer concept. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, Brandy says, oh shit, she was 14. See? Joe says those hands were helping. All right. Yeah, they were all over her. Donald says show was Jimmy Blanton going to be on tonight? Is Jimmy Blanton going to be on? Because he probably ought to be. Damn good movie. What movie was that? He's going to be in the new Beetlejuice movie. Was he playing Lydia's husband or something? You don't think there's any legit trailers yet? Yeah, it certainly isn't really looking like it. I'm gonna have to look into that because man, it'll suck if they're gonna go and mess up a new Labyrinth and a new Beetlejuice. I mean, they're just gonna mess up everything, don't they? Joe says, Donald, it's not on his channel, so I guess I'm mistaken. I'll have to look at my show to see what he said again. Brandy says, but an article I read said the house blew up and Beetlejuice gets stuck in the netherworld. Lydia has fallen in love with the Jersey Devil. What? What? Supposedly played by Will Arnett. What? How the hell does she fall in love with the Jersey Devil? The Jersey Devil turns out to be the father of Beetlejuice. Who thought up this crazy shit? Which, of course, in Beetlejuice, it was another, because again, it was a young girl. Beetlejuice, this supernatural entity, is trying to marry this young girl. Labyrinth, and it seems to be a pattern here. Labyrinth and Beetlejuice, and I'm sure if I think hard enough, if I wasn't so tired, I'd come up with some other ones that basically the same thing. That's all you know. That's weird though. That's weird. Like, how are you gonna go and marry? First you almost marry this, this ancient supernatural entity when you're like fucking 12 or however old she was, and then you're gonna turn around and marry his dad or fall in love with his dad. Another supernatural entity for some goddamn reason. It's like, what are you trying to? You trying to get in some crazy shit or what? What's wrong with this girl? I mean, yeah, she seems a little fucked up, but I just thought that was the real life actress coming through because she's kind of fucked up. At least there's no time travel involved. It could be like that fucking. Did I put that up? Did I put that short up about Fry? Where I was calling him a homophobe. If you're familiar with that episode, what had happened is they had gone back in time, and Fry was trying to protect his grandpa. That's his grandpa, and his grandpa's gay. Like he hasn't 100% figured out that he's gay, but he's gay. And then when Fry's hearing this, Fry's like, "No, you gotta have," because Fry's thinking if his grandpa does not marry that woman, then Fry's dad will never be born, and therefore Fry will cease to exist. Well, in the process of trying to protect his grandpa, he ends up putting him in a house that happens to be in a nuclear weapon test range and gets his grandpa killed. Well, I guess his grandpa isn't really his grandpa because he ends up going to console his grandmother because she's distraught because her fiance has been killed. And then Fry sleeps with his own grandma. And then the professor ends up telling him, "You're your own grandpa." Oh, shit. So what if they did some time travel shit in Beetlejuice? And so and Lydia has a baby, and that baby turns out to be Beetlejuice. Brian says this movie was delayed, hopefully to get it right. Yeah. Last you read. Donald says, "Is this a spinoff of Star Wars?" What the fuck? No. Brandy says, "I don't know who Depp is supposed to play, but it was confirmed he's in it." Huh. Well, I don't know. I guess I'll have to look into it at some point if I find time. All right, we gone. We're heading towards 3 hours here, so we've gone too long. Thanks everybody for coming. Happy Samhain. I don't know. I might try to do at least on Halloween night, Samhain night. I might try to go ahead and do a random live that night, but we'll see. We'll see. Donald says, "Thanks, Lockbeard." Thank you, Donald. Thank you all. And I'll see you next time. We're again the other channels still got a week and a half of suspension, so we'll be here on this channel next Saturday, and for anything else during that time. As you can see, I'm doing most of my shorts. I'm doing over here, trying to build this channel up. So hopefully to get monetized, like I really needed to get the monetized, and it's just been such a slow crawl for over a year now. And so trying to utilize the shorts to build up the numbers that are necessary to make that happen. Donald says it will have to be late, Lockie. What will have to be late? You mean on Halloween night? Are you working or something? Jen says, "Well, carve your turnip, Lock." Do what now? You'll carve a turnip? I used a coat hanger to hang those suckers up. And then they got glow sticks instead of trying to rig up a light or some shit. Yo, you're working until 9 p.m. Oh, damn. I sure as hell not going over there. I don't want to see any orb butter. All right, y'all. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you next time.